we continue with developing our ideas for our shelf, this week you are concentrating on your parts and your drawings. So you know, the assignment was updated that all drawings of all needed parts are due November 10th, so that is Wednesday, okay? And that should be reachable for all students without a problem. If you are absent a day, this is material that you can work on at home. I do know that you might be, extremely sick or whatnot, or family outings that you would not have computer access. But I have to be cautious. If you always are getting extra time on developing your parts, your assembly, when the semester ends and the class is over, your shelf needs to be finished. So we do have to be cautious here in the beginning that we are trying our best to keep up with due dates. Any questions on creating the drawings? So you can refer back to my teacher production example. And you can see when the drawings are due. You can see one drawing per slide. You must have at least 4 manufactured parts. In this particular case, I have one part that is used twice, and it is a relatively complex part. But then I have a part that is used 3 times, and it is a very simplistic part. Okay, I have put all the needed dimensions. I have put some ordering information on the right-hand side that I would also like you to include with this week's assignments. Questions on that material? All right, so thinking ahead, because we are all going to finish our parts and drawings at different times, I want to talk about the next item that you have due. Due on November 17th is your full assembly. And your full assembly may or may not require, it'll probably require dimensions. How many, I do not know. But the only dimension that was required on this one is the spacing for the shelves, for the shelf itself to separate on the brackets. Questions on the assembly so far? All right, so the next piece that I want to talk to you about, because some students will get here possibly before the end of today's class period, is the next step, okay? The next step, that due date is incorrect. I should update that due date for you right now. This should be the 19th. There's a few other places it needs change, but your flow chart is due on the 19th. Now, the flow chart is a whole new piece. You did not do a flow chart with the crates, okay? Essentially, Mrs. Martin has the flow chart memorized, and she kind of dictated the flow chart to you for the shelf project as to what you were doing each day. You are going to have multiple parts. How are you manufacturing each part? That is kind of what the flow chart is meant for. The flow chart allows us to review all of our steps and our needed materials and equipment. So this particular piece is how I will be creating this part, which I've referred to as top connection, bottom connection / shelf, bottom middle connection / shelf. So the first thing I'm going to do, if necessary, I am going to square a 1 by 6. I will use the miter saw for that. I am then going to mark it out to 21 inches. I will need a pencil, a tape measure, and a speed square. I am then going to cut it to 21 inches on the miter saw. Then it's going to be a delay for storage. I don't need that part anymore right now. That part is going to storage. That part's going to be put away and held tight. I'm going to repeat that operation 3 times. Okay, after I've done that, I'm moving on, and I know this is hard to see from back there. I am making my side bracket, and I am going to repeat that operation twice. The side bracket has considerably more steps because I need to mark everywhere that I'm drilling holes, where I'm going to go around it with the jigsaw. So I talk about laying out the 2-inch diameter holes, lay out the 1/2-inch diameter loops, lay out the tangent to connect the circles, drill out my circles, use the jigsaw to cut the loops and the tangents, then it's delayed. And I made a special note down here because we want to ensure these boards match. So after I cut the first board out and I lay out the second board, I'm going to put them on top of each other before I cut that second board to make sure things look correct. But then there's a delay for storage. Now that I've done that delay for storage, I'm going to come back and I'm going to start sanding my pieces. There's a specific way that I am going to sand my side brackets. I'm going to drill holes for my assembly. I am going to come back. I am now going to sand 5 manufactured pieces. Then I'm going to stain 5 manufactured pieces. Then there's a delay for drying. Then it goes into assembly. So you can see I started talking faster and less detailed as we got to the end, because I know that we're not going to get to this part today. But some of you will start maybe talking about your flow chart today in class, and I wanted you to see the basic setup. So if you're ready to start on that, you can go ahead and insert a table into your slide and read over the material that I have here, and then let me know, and I will give you some individual instructions so you can keep moving. Sound good? Excellent. Go ahead and get busy.